Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're not subscribed yet, take a second and click that subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers before quarantine is over. Please help me reach that goal. So today I wanted to make a video on my favorite travel movies. These are a handful of travel movies that I enjoy, so I wanted to share them with you just so it can scratch that wanderlust itch while we're all in lockdown and have nothing else to do and nowhere else that we can go. I also made a video on my favorite travel books, or the ones that I've been reading recently. If you want to check that out, click up here. So without further ado, here's some travel movies that I really enjoy. So the first one, it's an oldie but a goodie, Euro Trip. This might be a little inappropriate for the younger audience, but it's one of my favorites because it came out in 2004. So if you were born in the 90s, Euro Trip is probably a classic for you. It's a very funny travel movie, if you want to put it that way, and it reminds me of my high school days, so I really enjoy rewatching it from time to time. It's about these kids that just recently graduated high school. One of them, their girlfriend cheated on them and broke up with him, and he had been talking to a pen pal over in Europe, and he was like, screw it, I'm gonna go try and find her. So he goes on a Euro trip with all of his friends and shenanigans happen and whatnot. I sound like such an old person. They get into lots of shenanigans. But yeah, it's a funny movie and I really enjoy it, so if you haven't watched it, give it a go. Another movie I really like is Wild. So this is also a book. The book came out first and then they made a movie about it, so if you're more interested in the book, you can go pick that up. I'll leave all the links in the description for all of these movies below. So Wild is about a woman who her life is a mess. She was addicted to drugs, she cheated on her husband, and she wanted to turn her life around, so she decided to hike the Pacific Crest Trail in California that leads all the way down from the border of Mexico to the border of Canada. And so it's her journey through this hike, and it's really inspiring, and it makes you want to drop everything and go hike for kilometers and kilometers and thousands of kilometers on it. Eat, Pray, Love. Now, if you haven't seen this movie, you probably still know what it's about. A lot of people make fun of it because they say, oh, it's a cliche to travel and go find yourself and eat, pray, love and nonsense, but it's actually a really good movie. Again, it's about this woman who is doesn't know where she is in her life, so she decides to go on this travel journey and basically eat, pray, love. I don't want to ruin the endings of these movies, so I'm just going to give you the premise. It's a really good movie. Julia Roberts stars in it, so that just makes it all the better. So if you haven't seen it yet, give it a try. Another really good movie that came out of the early 2000s, 2004, is called Sideways. This movie is about wine, and if you've already watched my mini series of traveling with wine, you know I'm obsessed with wine, so this movie falls into the category of things I love. So basically, two men are going on a sophisticated bachelor party to California wine country, and it starts from there, and you know how the story goes with bachelor parties. During its time when it came out, it actually influenced the wine that was sold because of some of the remarks that the main character made about certain types of wine. So if you watch it, try and look out for those things and see if you can catch what types of wine sold better and what ones sold worse. Like the movie Wild, Into the Wild was also a book before it became a movie. Both of them are true stories. So Into the Wild is about a man that goes on a hiking journey in North America, ends up in Alaska with nothing but his backpack, and he has some inspiring encounters, finds himself living out of an abandoned city bus. I'm not going to tell you how it ends, but check that one out too if you haven't already. Hangover Part 2. This is probably my favorite movie out of the Hangover series, just because it takes place in Thailand. So like Euro Trip, it's a comedy of people, having a good time while they're exploring different countries. I've seen it a million times, And actually, if you see this photo right here, I've been to that part in Bangkok, that part of the movie where they film in a large, tall, expensive hotel. I actually went up there and the drinks were $30 US each. You think Thailand is cheap until you go to the bougie part of Thailand. But yeah, again, Hangover 2, hilarious. Give it a watch. The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. This one is about a man who sits in his office all day and has one of those 9-to-5 jobs, but his job is actually dealing with photography for this adventure photographer that works for the company. So he ends up getting like all the footage and all the film of great destinations that this guy is shooting. So he daydreams a lot at his office job about traveling the world and about his love interest in the office. It's kind of slow at the beginning, but as the movie progresses, it's actually really good at taking you to those destinations that he's dreaming about, so it scratches that wanderlust itch. So I have 2 bonus Netflix series that I want to share with you as well that are travel based. The first one is Dark Tourist. So David Ferrier is a New Zealand journalist. He explores dark tourism all over the world. Basically what dark tourism is, tourist destinations that have a obscure or dangerous past. So one of the episodes he travels to Japan where there was a very intense nuclear disaster, and he goes into an area where the radiation levels are really frightening. They go swimming in a lake that is known to be full of radiation. He kind of does some dumb things, but again, these are actual tours that you can go on if you go to these places. It's interesting to see the history of what happened in these places, but also it's kind of crazy what tours you can actually go on and what's available out there. And the second Netflix series that is kind of new, I recently watched, is Extreme Engagement. So this couple goes all over the world and tests if they're ready to be married by putting themselves through different cultural experiences of how they get engaged and prepare for marriage. So for instance, they go to Mongolia to try and live the nomadic lifestyle. They push the limits of their relationship in order to see if they can handle life together. Both the Netflix series are like documentary journalistic style. They're not fiction movies, so you're actually learning something about the culture and the areas that they travel to. I think that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you end up watching everything I just suggested and you want something more, then leave a comment in the comment section below and I will give you more of my suggestions. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and I will see you in the next one. Bye.